What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hi. What's the one comment? There's a comment. Melanie Demore. Hi. Hi. Look where I am. Crazy. It's crazy. Hi, Patty. It's equally as warm here as it is anywhere else. There's my glass case that I was looking for in California. Now I find it somewhere else. How's everybody doing? My lighting, you have to forgive me. Everything's a little off right now, a little different, but we'll get there. We'll create the next phase. This camera is very honest. I'm finding this to be an extremely honest camera. So I'm at the other home because my sister calls it Jenna House. Wherever I am, it's Jenna House, but yeah, I'm at the lil pad. But Melanie, I'm in the middle of a grant that I need to ask all these crazy questions, answer these questions with my friend Rolf. And Grace and I got back late yesterday into this East Bay. You guys, I have to tell you a crazy story. Are you guys ready? I'm gonna wait to see who else comes. Hey, Carol. Hey, Rob, Morocco, Patty, and Mama Grace. I don't know where you are. Julie Luce. I'm gonna wait till Grace gets here because let me know when you're here, Mama. But in all that rambling just now, Melanie, we need to talk. We need to hang. We need to do this Zoom thing together. And I feel like I missed the opportunity to actually be in the same space with you, even though we were in the same space, but we weren't in the working space. But now we'll be in the working space because we're going to do this. And I've been up since, wouldn't be bad. I guess it's not bad. I woke up at like 2:30 California time. So that's 5:30 in Michigan. Zoom assista. I know. I've got like 9 things to catch up on, including my luggage that I have to. Okay, Mama Grace is here. I'm gonna call you. Mama Grace, I'm just gonna call you. I'm not gonna FaceTime you. I'm just gonna call you. So you're here. Zoom assista. I'm gonna. But then we gotta work. Work and work. Answer your phone, Mama. Where you at?
Hello.
Hi, Mama.
Hi.
So I'm going to tell the story real quick, okay?
Okay, I'm listening. Why did you want me on?
Because so you're there. Can you lower your iPad?
Just a minute.
Okay, so Mama
just did.
Michael Peltz drove Mama Grace, Lillian Pearl, and I to the airport this morning we left at like 4:45, 5 a.m. because we had a 7 a.m. flight. So we must have left a little earlier than that. So we're driving across the bay and I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, San Francisco, go, the Bay Bridge, everything's so pretty, driving through the city, all the blue lights. And we get to the airport and I talk to the parking guy and I'm like, hey, I got my mom and my dog and like 17 pieces of luggage in this tiny little clown. It looked like a clown car because there was so much that just kept coming out of it. Are you cool with us being here? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So I go in and I'm standing in front of a guy that just decides to buy like 5 tickets. Oh, I think I'll buy one to Oregon. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to buy one for here and here. And there's one woman waiting on like 9 people and he's buying all these tickets. But I thought that's cool because I have Clear and Mama Grace has TSA, so we'll just cruise through. So I get up there, the guy takes the luggage, everything's cool, it's all underweight. We get that done. Grace comes in, the wheelchair guy comes, which is a whole other story. The wheelchair comes in and she goes in TSA and I go in Clear because I wanted to try to get through before she did so I could help her on the other side. But we're pretty much like clear TSA, and then, clear when they walk you up, you just boom, go through. So I go through, and I'm sitting there waiting for Grace. I'm with Lillian, and we're just kind of watching. And then the next thing I see is the TSA guy asking Grace to wipe her, he wipes her hands, how they'll do the wipe thing with hands. And then he asks her to get up out of her wheelchair, I guess. And I see her get up out of the wheelchair. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And they wipe down the wheelchair. I'm like, oh, that's cute. They're sanitizing the wheelchair. And then I'm like, no, they're testing it. Okay, so I know they're testing it. And then I see her suitcase held back. So I'm like, what's in the suitcase? Did Lisa put some jam in the suitcase? Is there like little mayonnaise, mustard, cute little, like we like those cute little things. And maybe there's a 5-ounce container of mustard or something. So I'm waiting. And then I say to the guy, look, our flight is at 7 and they're they're letting people on at 6:15 and it was like 5 to 6. And he's like, well, we got to go through her bag. And I said, really, why? And he goes, because we found something in there that is not something that you're allowed to take on. I go, really, what? And he goes, well, I don't know what it is. And I said, well, what are we waiting for? And he goes, we're waiting for the bomb squad. I'm like, what? The bomb squad? Well, why the bomb squad? Because there's something in your mother's luggage that is inappropriate. And he was really kind of condescending and punky. And I'm like, she's a 90-year-old lady. She doesn't, what are you talking about? A bomb squad? How long is that going to take? Well, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. And Grace is just sitting there with a cute little hat. You look so cute today, Mama. You still there? Or are you sleeping?
Yes.
So we wait for the bomb squad. In the meantime, they shut down her TSA lane that she was in. Close down number 2, close number 2, separate people to 2 and to 3 and 4. Okay. Because they take not only that bag, but they took her other carry-on bag and they take they line up the whole conveyor belt with all those tubs, with like 15 tubs, and take every single thing that Lisa put in like a jigsaw puzzle, and it was perfect. They took it all out and put it all in the tubs. Everything. Like, oh, here's her little this and her little lipstick and everything out. And I'm like, it's going to take me an hour just to put the stuff back in. But now we're waiting for the bomb squad. 2 guys come up, badges. I don't know if they had guns on them, maybe all kinds of stuff, gloves. And they went through all of her stuff. And Lisa, and I should have it with me right now. Darn it, I don't. Lisa sent a package of, go ahead, Mama, tell him.
I can't remember the name of the salt, but it was salt.
Himalayan sea salt, a bag of Himalayan sea salt. Frozen? Am I frozen for everybody?
No, you're not frozen.
Himalayan sea salt. A 6-ounce bag of Himalayan sea salt was something that somebody makes bombs with, I guess. So they went through and they ended up clearing us, and then I put everything back in the bags, and then we got on the plane. Well, kind of. Right, Mama?
Yeah. But what did they tell you when you told them that you were going to? We might miss our plane.
Go ahead, tell them.
Oh, I'm so tired I can hardly talk.
I'm sorry. Me too.
Jenna was worried that we wouldn't get there in time to go on the plane, and she told this cocky guy that. He said, well, if you miss that flight, you can just get another one, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you.
If they let you on.
and he kept walking off and being just a real smart aleck.
That was a part of it, Julie. I'm like, I don't even want the salt. Does anybody want the salt? And then I had to take out this box, emptied the box off. Anyway, that's our story. And then we get to O'Hare, and the wheelchair guy comes up, and I look at him and I go, I remember you when we went the last time, illegal condiments, right? When we left for Christmas last year, 2019, we had the same
to New Mexico.
Going to California.
To New Mexico.
California.
From California.
No, Mom, in Chicago to California, the same guy was the wheelchair guy. So now he's going to be on the show because we're all like together, like hanging out and stuff today. So it was a long, fun day. And then Jerry came and picked us up. And then we got back here, and Ray's here, and Mitch was here, and it was wild. And Jeanette was here, and Lillian's partying with everybody. And Grace is tired, so I'm going to let her go because, you guys, I have to let my friend on. Ladies and gentlemen. Oops. Wrong song. Crazy, right? Dr. Andrew Rader.
See you when you get through, Jenna.
Okay, love you, Mama.
Love you too, honey. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dave. I'm not going to do it. Can you believe that? Do you know anything about sea salt and bombs?
I would have been having so many heart attacks.
I couldn't believe it.
About missing the flight. And I know you cannot say a word
Right.
to these people because, my dad always talked about 500-pound gorillas.
Oops.
And the story about 500-pound gorillas?
Tell us.
They could do whatever they want. And so my dad would always give object lessons about where you find 500-pound gorillas. And a TSA agent is a 500-pound gorilla. You cannot. You say anything to them that upsets them, you lose. Even if you're right, you lose.
Right. I think I'm frozen. Now I'm frozen and I don't know.
Now you are frozen. I could hear you. So I'm sure pretty soon you'll get back.
So keep talking because I don't know where I went.
That's okay.
Yeah. I couldn't get pissed, especially this one young punky kid was like, oh, well, you might just have to get enough. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Salt? I go, we don't even really use salt. And he was like, ooh, just like punky TSA kid. And then when the bomb squad guys were there, they were really cool. And he was apologizing. He's like, I'm really sorry this is happening. I go, we don't even want the salt. Do you want the salt? We just want to get on the flight. But I couldn't freak out. Because if I freaked out, then I would have, no.
And I'm surprised they let you know what the suspicious item was.
Right? I thought that too. I'm going to play around with my camera a little bit because I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely not going to take salt.
Yes, you guys, don't ever take salt on the plane.
No.
That's the learning. Well, I've taken bath salts on a plane before and never had an issue.
It's interesting. They are crystals, crystallized structures, and if they're looking through an X-ray, maybe the pattern is strange for them, and just.
My friend David DiNucci just said salt is on the list. Airfare, 10 surprising things that could trigger a bag search.
Wow.
David
I guess especially if it's the rock salt, the larger crystals.
No, it wasn't. It was a little bag of salt.
Salt, wow.
I should have it in my hand right now, but I'm sorry I don't.
Must have caused anomalies in how the X-ray stuff, But salt, there are lots of kinds of salt, not just sodium chloride. So whatever salt could be used to create a device that could be threatening might look the same. Anyway.
I just spilled some really nice seltzer water. Excuse me, but you can't see me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Everything's gonna get wet on this table now. Keep
I can
talking.
hear you, sure.
Can you hear the seltzer water?
No, you hear Emma drinking?
Emma! Oh, Lillian's gonna get jelly. I don't know where I am, you guys. I just don't know where I am. Hi, Emma girl.
Wait,
Are you a bachelor this evening?
I'm a bachelor for 2 days. Shauna went down to see the baby.
Luca. My name is Luca.
Luca. And
Wow.
you know, they made a movie about him. It's out this summer.
That's right. We talked about that.
Oh, Luca.
There's a movie named Luca. So what's been happening in your life? Besides, did you use any salt this evening? Whenever you think.
Yeah, I use salt. Salt is an important ingredient to make food taste good. I don't over salt, I don't believe.
What kind of salt do you like to use?
Well, that really dangerous stuff.
Right.
I'll use Celtic sea salt, which comes from Normandy, France. Harvested in the old-fashioned way. They kind of rake it off the rocks.
I have some salt like that from Mendocino.
Yeah. So, you know, just
Black salt.
Any salt that's not heavily industrialized, no. So smaller companies that, you know, take care. That's because it matters. So for a long time, and so yeah, sea salt. So
So why do people want to use sea salt and not the Arm & Hammer salt? Andrew.
Okay, it doesn't have to be sea salt. Himalayan salt is not sea salt.
Right.
From there. So many years ago, I discovered the whole salt story. And if you have heavily industrial, like Morton's salt, they basically take everything out, including all the other minerals that are in salt.
They strip the salt.
They strip the salt down to sodium chloride,
right,
which is the largest ingredient, but that's not what you get from the ocean. That's not what you get from salt that would be harvested, let's say, from the Great Salt Lake or any salt deposit. You get tons of other minerals and nutrients, what we call micronutrients. So they're in very small doses, like selenium, for instance. But when you have a industrialized salt, it's stripped of all that. And then what do? They add back iodine. And that's not the way salt's meant to be. And you can have all the problems attributed to high salt diets are probably mostly caused by the fact that it's shitty salt. And if you have good salt that has a wide spectrum of the micronutrients, then
like a Himalayan sea salt.
Well, I wouldn't call it Himalayan sea salt.
Himalayan salt. I'm sorry.
Himalayan salt. Then it's going to be not as dangerous to have salt in the diet because it's balancing out with all the other nutrients like potassium, like selenium, like chromium, molybdenum, on and on and on. So, so many years ago, we just started getting the Celtic sea salt, because it was easier to get, and now there are many other salts. It's become like coffee, a designer salt world. Like,
Oh yes, I love smoked salts, and I have like 10 different salts right here in my kitchen.
yeah, like chocolate has become dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And you can taste, if you want to do a little salt sampling, like a wine tasting, you can just, lick your finger and just dip a little bit and taste each salt. And you could tell the difference. There are differences.
There's a book. It's called Salt: A World History. It's a guy named Mark Kurlansky. I love this book, you guys. I'll take a screenshot of it because it's just, oh, I can't post, but I'll look it up. But Salt, Mark Kurlansky, Kurlansky. I love this book.
And how did you get into salt?
I always, I just, I think I saw the book in in an airport years ago, and I thought I love salt, and everyone said, "Oh, you need to have salt. You need to have salt. Hickory smoked salt. Oh yeah, I love salt. I take a Epsom salt bath every night or every morning at some point wherever I am. I try, but I am not a salt freak. I'm not one of those people. I didn't grow up using salt. My mom doesn't use salt as in cooking very much. And I'm always amazed at people that when they get their food in a restaurant and they just salt their food before they eat it.
Yeah. Now the thing about restaurants is they're almost always
Too
overly
much
salted.
salt. Yeah, way
And
too much salt.
Yeah.
But I
And what
love
happens?
the flavor that it allows to happen. It honors the food when it's done right.
Absolutely.
I'm
What
sorry.
happens with chefs is they build tolerance to the taste. So when they taste their food, they start to salt it more and more and more because they're losing their ability to taste salt. And so
Right.
they add more salt to satisfy their taste, but really it's off kilter, and they're almost always over salting. And then any commercial food is absolutely over salted because that's how they hook people with the salt and the fat and sugar.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't think I use too much salt, and I know when something is too salted, but or is too salty. But I've been known to, even when I do have, well, like when we have the Yonanas at your house, I put a little tiny bit of salt on that, and it just makes it taste that much better. Ice cream,
yeah,
little tiny bit of salt in it, boom, so much
yeah,
better.
it brings out the flavor, even the sweet flavor. It accentuates it.
So I have a friend that asked me today. She has been having really bad, not only leg cramps, but stomach cramps, but the kind that are in your leg, like muscle cramps. And I asked about her magnesium. Asked her, she said, I'm drinking enough water. Asked her if she's doing any tonic water. What, as the acupuncturist healer that you are, what do you think is good for those leg cramps in the middle of the night when you wake up? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had one?
How old is she?
She's probably 60.
Okay. Um, well,
I thought salt would be great for her also. Hey, I have some Himalayan salt if you want some.
so what happens when we sleep at night is the circulation to the extremities is shunted off back towards your central core, your organs. That's why we need blankets at night, because we're not circulating to our limbs for warmth, because we don't need it. We're not moving. much. So there's very little circulation in the limbs, and it's easy to get a cramp, especially in the calves, when there's not enough circulation. So one suspect is just being dehydrated. So I know people don't like to drink much fluid before they go to bed.
Right. So exactly.
Especially if they're concerned about having to get up to pee at night. But it really is important to be hydrated. So you can, if you drink fluid a couple of hours before you go to bed, and then just pee before you go to bed, just make sure you're hydrated. You know, the magnesium salts, a lot of people feel it's magnesium. If you don't have enough magnesium, you're going to get cramps. So doing a good foot soak or Epsom salt bath before bed.
I'm a big fan of Calm also.
The homeopathic?
The powder, there's a powder called Calm. It's a magnesium powder it's a fizzy powder.
Not that you take internally.
What?
That you take internally?
Yeah. Yeah, it's magnesium. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you want to be a little careful about that. You know, all these salts are exquisitely balanced in the blood. So you don't want to overdose.
So why do people say tonic water then? Because of the salt? They say the quinine in tonic water can help with cramps.
Yeah, maybe. I've heard that. I think it's being hydrated, number one, and being warm. So if those muscles get cold, that's another way they can cramp.
Oh, the muscle gets cold.
Yeah. It's also good to give them a good stretch before you go to bed.
Yeah, I always stretch before bed. And Julie Luce is asking because people always say, oh, you need more potassium. You need more potassium. I think my camera must have just died or something, you guys. But I can't even get my camera on my laptop to work.
Wow. Hey, you know that setting right by the video? You can test your video.
No. Where?
So on the Zoom panel down at the bottom.
Oh my God.
There she is.
But that's not this camera. This camera's still not working.
All right, so you change cameras.
I changed it because it went off from here.
Uh-huh.
Then things got a little discombobulated. There's my suitcase. Big suitcase. That's actually Grace's suitcase. How did that get upstairs? I'm telling you.
Oh, and then the stomach cramp. So when you say
stomach cramps, just like she gets in her legs, she gets that kind of a muscle spasm in her stomach.
So the muscles in the abdomen,
no, stretch at night.
Not the intestines, not
in the abdomen. She's getting muscle cramps, but she said, like the cramps I get in my legs.
Wow.
So I was showing her some stretches and.
Yeah. Well, that's less common for sure. And I would feel more comfortable having a direct conversation to get a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. Anytime you have abdominal pain, it really has to be sorted out. And you can't assume it's one particular thing without figuring it out. So
I like you in a white shirt, Andrew Rader. That's a good one.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to comment you. And Shauna gave me a really nice white shirt. It's in my bag. But that's my mom's bag. So now I have to carry that bag all the way back downstairs. Damn.
Well, at least you're going downhill.
Well, you haven't seen my stairs. They're sort of, it's so funny. They're sort of like that. And even the guy that drove us today, as he walked up the stairs, he goes, I used to hang out up here when I was in high school. I go, everyone says that. I have people that have come over to massage therapist. She's like, oh my God, I used to date a guy that lived up here. Is there a really cute little and then the thing? And I'm like, yep. That's my place. Really cute little stuff everywhere. Crazy lady. Collage house. But so that's interesting. Yeah, I asked her if she was planning to see her doctor or somebody soon, but I'm afraid that a doctor might give her a muscle relaxer for the cramps.
Yeah, I mean, oh, so here's the thing. Now you're giving me an opportunity.
There we go.
Just in general, oh, Emma wants to come in.
Grandma, I miss you, girl. Emma girl. Lillian's downstairs with Mama Grace.
And this applies especially for HMOs, where HMO, right? An HMO is where you give them the money and they manage your care, and you have to see a general practitioner. They would call them the gatekeepers before you get to see any specialist for anything.
Right.
And they're usually crunched for time. It's not their fault, not the doctor's fault. It's the system that's pushing it. And
why? Just to make money?
well, all right. An
Landlord.
HMO, they
Landlord.
already they're acting as the insurer and the provider together, right? So with an HMO, they already have your money. So any service that they provide for you is kind of on their tab, right? The less service they need to provide, the more profit they have. Again, I'm not implying that any physician is not going to give you good care because they are thinking about money, but the system they operate in is that way. The opposite end is fee for service. So you go in with a hangnail and they say, oh, well, we need an MRI and we need a CAT scan and we need to do a full blood panel and blah, blah.
I have a hangnail right now that pretty much needs surgery because it hurts so bad. So I need a CAT scan. Yeah, well, you're going to need a CAT scan. Well, you're going to need okay.
So those are the two extremes in terms of incentives. One incentive is to deny care, withhold care as much as possible. The other incentive is to do as much as possible because that's how you get paid. So they're both, you have to know what you're dealing with when you go in to see a physician to get treated. And so in the HMO situation, you have to be a real squeaky wheel for something that is hard to diagnose. And what they'll often do is, without really diagnosing, they'll throw a treatment at you. Yeah, take this medication, let's see how it goes. That's not how it should go. They should have a diagnosis before they ever give any treatment, which takes a little sleuthing depending on what it is. Some things are very obvious, it's not a problem. Like you twist your ankle, they get an x-ray, it's broken, it's not broken, it's sprained. You know, those are simple, obvious things. But abdominal pain takes a little sleuthing. And you really
abdominal cramping, like a muscle cramp in your abdomen.
Well, yeah, you got to be sure we're talking about a muscle cramp.
Right. That's
right?
what you said it feels like.
Yeah. Well, the difficult thing about abdominal pain is often it can be referred. So, for instance, appendicitis.
Yeah.
Which your appendix is over here. on the right side, lower down. Doesn't mean that the pain is going to be in that spot.
Right.
Pain could be anywhere in the abdomen earlier on. Eventually it'll get there, but earlier on you could just feel nauseous and queasy, and you'll have maybe generalized pain. But that's a surgical situation. That could
Like
be a
my hangnail, I'm
life-threatening,
telling you.
situation. Any fertile female, meaning any menstruating woman, any abdominal pain, they have to rule out an ectopic pregnancy.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. So they have to get a pregnancy test on any woman who's fertile, and fertile just means menstruating age, still menstruating. They got to rule out that you're pregnant for any kind of abdominal pain. That's standard. That should be standard operating procedure. If we're talking about a type of pain that would bring you to the ER.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to get a pregnancy test for every type of.
But this hangnail, hey, Bonnie Barker and Julie Luce, do you guys know each other maybe? You could. Oh, that would be so crazy. Hi, Bonnie. This hangnail made me cry yesterday.
Wow. So soak it in hot salt water.
And now Andy froze. Himalayan salt. I'm gonna soak it in some salt. I haven't taken my Epsom salt bath yet tonight, but I will do that.
I'm still moving.
Hey, girl.
There you are.
You froze.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You froze. You were like.
From my point of view, let's take a poll.
Okay.
Poll everyone and see who froze.
Hey, I have to just say this one thing. Did you guys ever imagine that we would be sitting here like Rob, Carol, Julie, Bonnie? Did you ever think and Annie, did you think we would be sitting here talking about leg cramps on 11/11? I didn't. I mean, I'm open to anything, but all of a sudden I went, there's some old Mama Jammas talking about leg cramps. Because I've had them where, and I'm with Lillian and she's in bed with me and I'm like, oh my God, and she's looking at me like, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, there's nothing you can do. I just need to, if I can stand up as my foot is, and I stretch, I do, I practice, I do yoga every day. I stretch, I walk, drink tons of water.
Yeah.
I even have a box of water right here. I have a boxed water.
Wow.
Because boxed water is better.
I tell you, man, marketing.
It's from the plane.
Uh-huh.
I took it from the plane.
Okay.
But and didn't find my spices today.
Did they let you eat or drink on the flight?
Oh, I love the cramps. Yeah. Well, back in March, I bought these tickets, and it's a long story, but on Alaska Airlines, they switched this thing now where if you want to be upgraded to a better seat, it used to be automatically upgraded when you're and you're in the system, and I'm like a gold member. Well, now you have to pay. No matter what, if you're a gold person, they don't just automatically upgrade you unless you're whatever. So it was like, at the time, it was really inexpensive to fly. But then you had to pay this extra $60 or $80 per person. So I just bought my mom and I first class tickets because they were really cheap. They were like $300 versus $280 to sit in the bulkhead. It was $300 to be first class. So we flew first class, and they did have this really big box that they handed you. It looked like a pizza box. And then inside it was this smaller box of there was an egg thing with fruit, and then there was a protein pack that had some nuts and some cheese and some fruit and some turkey or something. Look at me, a fine athletic specimen. Like, you get leg cramps at night too. But have you guys ever heard of the I don't want to say wives' tale, old brilliant women's tale about putting a piece of soap, a bar of soap in your bed with cramping? I've
Well,
done
hey, hang on. I'm not going away, but I want to show you something.
Maybe he's going to bring back a soap sculpture. Soap sculpture. Yes, I've been up all night. Oh yeah, that thing's so awesome. Yep. Okay, send some our way.
Now watch this. Here's the dial. Have I done this before?
Just I've done it at your house.
You hear that baby hum?
Right on my neck, right here.
Wait, I want to show you what it does to my. Can you see the vibration? So
Do it on your nose. Do it on your nose.
Your calves.
Yeah.
Anyway, vibration. So before you go to bed, if you don't have one of those gadgets, you could just
jump.
You don't jump, but you shake. You shake. I'm going.
I'm shaking from watching him shake.
Well, I think the table's shaking in my arm. I don't know.
Earthquake. There's an earthquake.
Oh, by the way, I was on a Zoom call last week, and the guy on the screen, you could see these house plants behind them. They start shaking.
Oh, the earthquake that we had. Yeah.
Yes. San Lorenzo 4.0.
I was up in Lake County. We had one, and then the next day or 2 days later, you guys had one.
Yeah, he was
early, right? Early morning?
No, it was like 6 p.m. on a Monday.
Oh.
Last Monday. It was he was in the city and the earthquake was Emma.
So, do you have any big plans while you're bacheloring out in?
Well, we saw this really, I'm sure you've heard of it or seen it already, Soul Summer.
Oh yeah. I'm starting to watch
Abby
it for
Lincoln.
the second time.
Abby Lincoln. Right?
Yeah, Abby was in it. I'm on my second time through. Pretty great, isn't it?
Oh my God.
I didn't want it to end. That's why I started watching it again.
Watching Stevie, little Stevie.
19 years old. 19. Yeah. Stevie Wonder.
Playing the keyboards like a percussion instrument. It is a percussion instrument. And that sound he got out of it. That was just so much fun.
It's a great movie. And I guess it's on Hulu. I guess Hulu's
it's on Hulu.
And Hulu's offering a 30-day free thing right now. I started watching another show. It's kind of I fly. I'm a big flyer, obviously, but it's called Manifest.
Oh, you were telling us.
It's a little weird, but it's cool. I'm watching it going, it's one of those ones where you go,
yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to keep watching it.
See, that's not the kind of recommendation that's going to get me to
watch it. Interesting. It is interesting because I get the stuff that's happening and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why that would happen. Yeah, Nina Simone was spectacular. Super spectacular. Power.
Oh my God, yeah.
Nina and Abby were very good friends.
And then
Patty's watching Manifest. See, I'm still in the first. I've watched 2.5 episodes of it right now. This is something I forgot about in my house.
And then watching Gladys Knight talk about the moment where she was with Mahalia Jackson on stage, and Mahalia has given her the mic.
Right. Passing it on. Mahalia to Gladys. And now Gladys, I think she's 70.
So what's curious to me, and I'm sure it's all business, the business side is, I didn't see James Brown. I didn't see Aretha. I didn't see, who
Interesting.
else would have been there? Marvin Gaye. There's so many other
They probably
people.
were there. They could have been there.
Well, then we would have seen footage. Like, how can you leave them out?
I'll have to ask my friend Alexa. She was there. My friend Alexa's actually in the movie.
Wow.
I posted. She posted when she watched it the other night. She posted the little Alexa and her two sisters are playing. They're clapping, and one of them's playing this thing. And
In the audience? In the
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's one of the premier presenters. She worked at Summer Stage, she worked at the New School, she worked at Jazz Fest, she worked at Newport. So to think, I know her as that person. So to see her as this 4-year-old little girl playing in Harlem, she was there. She got it in her soul. Maybe they had other commitments. Yeah. I didn't watch Lost. And I didn't watch the other one that everybody watched. When I was living in Mexico, everybody was watching that one show. What is it? What's the show that everybody watches?
How long ago?
In the last 10 years, 8 years.
Oh, well, there's Breaking Bad.
No, not Breaking Bad.
The Sopranos.
Yeah, well, no, not that. Sopranos is like I had it in my DNA. I had to watch it. Like,
what did everyone watch? I don't know.
What's the one? Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Never seen. Has anyone besides me on this call of 13 people? I watched about 5 minutes of it one night in Mexico, and I went, I'm gonna go watch the sunset later.
You cannot. Okay, we had never watched it, and then when COVID hit, well, shit, we got all this time. But that's not a show you can just plop into at any point. You got to start it from the beginning.
I started it from I watched the first night, and I went, no.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Patty and Julie never watched it either.
I understand.
But you and Shauna watched it.
Yep.
Tell them about the show, and William didn't either. Tell them about the show we watched that night about the couples.
Oh, yeah, the older couples. So they're all standalone episodes, and these are older couples. When I say older, they've all been together for at least 40 years or more. Some 50, some 60. And these are couples from all over the world. There's a couple from Spain, a couple from Italy, a couple from Japan, a couple from India.
We watched the Brazil one.
The Brazilian women, yep. And they're beautiful. They're
really incredible.
Yeah.
The filming is wonderful. What's the name of the show?
It's on Netflix. I'm sure it's on Netflix.
And I thought when I was watching it with you and Shauna, I thought Andy and Shauna should be on the show.
No, we need to get at least another 10, 15 years under our belt.
Well, you're coming up on 40.
Yeah, close to 40.
I think some of those couples were doing the 40s.
As my parents would say, if we don't kill each other, by next April we'll be married.
Was it April, or you got married in April?
My parents.
Your parents. You were August, weren't you? August
18th. Yeah.
You guys got married August 18th, and I met you on Halloween. He was Gandhi. She was, what's her name?
Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda. Mumu quiero, mumu quiero. And I was Mona Lisa. We've already had that story. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm really happy to see you. Can you come back next week?
Here we are again. I will find the name of the show and text you.
You could put it on here. Put it on this feed.
Well, I have to go find it.
Oh, okay.
While we're still, yeah.
I just finished Midnight Diner.
Another beautiful show.
I love Midnight Diner, you guys.
There's a trick about Midnight Diner because Netflix has it in two separate places because it was a hit show in Japan, or at least, and so there are 3 seasons, I believe. And then Netflix picked it up and produced the 4th season.
There's a 4th season?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's like it's like when you go to your closet and get a jacket and you stick your hand in the pocket and you find a $20 bill.
I found a $20 bill in a pair of shorts the other day that was in a box in my storage. $20. I've paid about $10,000 in storage, but I got $20.
So go search Netflix. It'll be a separate icon. They're almost like 2 different.
You just made my week, Andy.
Yeah.
I love Midnight Diner, you guys. It's so soothing. It's so beautiful. I just sit there and I go, I want to open a Midnight Diner. I taught midnight yoga. I love midnight, and I love midnight to 7 a.m. I love that time, and to have a diner, and he makes whatever you want. I walk in there, I want to have, and he would make it because he was just so.
He would make it as long as he has the ingredients.
Right.
And so people would bring in the ingredients.
They go, hi, I have this can of garbanzo beans. Okay. And then I want our garbanzo beans and rice.
Yeah. And they were all attached to some relationship.
Oh.
The dish would remind them of their mother or their father or their sister or their brother or their first wife or whatever. And yeah, beautiful show.
My friend Naomi turned me onto it up in Seattle, and then she'd walk in on me and she's like, you're watching Midnight Diner, aren't you? And I'm like, yep. Midnight Basketball, that's true. So Julie found money while she was packing to move. Good. I love that. I found it was in this pocket inside a pocket that was in a box inside a box in a box in my storage, and I found these shorts, and there was a $20 bill, and I went, here it is. What are you going to watch tonight? You're on to something new.
Well, it's not something that I would recommend for everyone.
Uh-oh.
It's also on Netflix. So what happens, what Netflix does, and I really appreciate this, is they will go to other countries, find out what's popular or big hit in other countries, and either just bring it here with subtitles, or they might do what they did with Midnight Diner, pick it up and produce it, or continue to produce it if it got canceled. So this is a show, it's kind of a soap opera, schmaltzy love story, but it's very interesting because it's a South Korean show about a woman who's the heir to a major corporation, and I don't want to give too much away, but she accidentally finds herself in North Korea. And it's an accident. She's paragliding. No, she's hang gliding, or maybe it's called paragliding. And the wind takes her over the 38th parallel, but she doesn't realize it. And
don't tell us anymore. What's it called?
Oh, wait, I can tell you right now. Hang on.
He has it on pause. I know how he rolls.
It's called Crash Landing on You.
Crash landing
on
on
you.
you.
So what's interesting to me is it's a South Korean show that takes place in North Korea, or a good part of it. So it's whoever created the show has to have some idea what it might be like in North Korea, and how did they get this information, and are they being sympathetic? Are they being overly critical? And how much is fiction and how much is based on real information? It's really interesting, because what do we know about North Korea? Not much.
Not much.
So to see, I'm sure there are consultants on the show. This is just conjecture. I'm sure there are people who defected and maybe are consultants on the show. So they're giving the producers some advice on what's it like. Do they have TVs? Do they have, what kind of technology do they have? What did the elites get their hands on? Oh yeah, that's another thing. So they're the elite class, like the top brass in military, and what do their wives have access to in terms of cosmetic products and fashion magazines? It's all contraband. How do they get that? What's the black market like? What do people have access to? So that to me is what's really interesting about this show. That it's a schmaltzy soap opera on one level, but it is really interesting to get a peek at what might be going on in North Korea.
Interesting.
Yeah, Crash Landing on You.
Crash landing on you.
Now, next week, I'll be,
Oh,
I
right,
won't
you're
be
going on
able,
vacation.
yeah, we're coming back from Washington State,
And
and it's a family reunion.
yeah. Oh,
And what?
and
So I won't
you
be
can't
able
make the show because why?
because we'll be flying. We'll be in transit.
And I was on the show this morning at early. I did an early show today, in case anybody was wondering. I did
You mean
an early.
before 11:11?
Yeah, I did it at 7 something or 6 something. I did.
Okay.
I did. Well, when do you guys leave? I know you're leaving
I'll see it. We're leaving Friday morning.
today. Have the best time and an
Okay.
uneventful trip. Are you flying Alaska?
No, flying. We're flying Southwest.
Okay. So, what did you learn tonight about flying?
No salt.
No salt, you guys.
Hold the salt, but not in your bags.
So I went, but yet they can have salt on the plane.
Well, of course they can. You know,
You know who they are.
they can have boxes of water on the plane.
Boxed water. I liked it better than the plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Julie Luce, that is so sweet of you. Julie Luce just said a really nice thing. May I read it out loud?
Sure.
Except I lost it now. And hi, Paula Hubbard. Oh, Julie Luce, I just have to say thank you again for your 11/11 shows and the introduction to all of your wonderful friends who have become such a special part of my life. Not to mention how awesome you are, young lady. Well, thank you, Julie. I was talking to Michael Peltz about that last night because he and Jeff Metzger are going to meet in New York, and they might meet up with Gary Lambert. And I'm happy with the community and the connection that this is bringing people. And it's going to, like we're still here. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, but people are moving out in the world and going on trips, and they're going to meet people, and we're going to meet each other. And
You're a matchmaker. What can I tell you?
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match, find me a find, catch me a catch. I am. I love it. I'm a connector. I always have been. Eat the salt before you board. And William, what William
then you come off the plane.
loaded. I eat orange. I love to eat oranges on the plane. I feel good when I eat oranges on the plane. Apples, oranges, no bananas. You take a banana on a plane, bam, gone. You were in St. Joe last weekend. My brother and I did Antiques on the Bluff on Sunday. The town was packed. Yeah, it does get packed. I know.
Okay.
All right. Good night, Andrew Rader. Dr. Andrew Rader. And Blanche wants to come hang out again with you and Shauna sometime.
We'd love to have her.
All right. I don't know. She might land. We got to make sure there's a helipad around your place somewhere. That's how she's been rolling these days, on a helicopter.
We can handle Blanche's needs.
She'll be crash landing on you.
Yes.
Thanks. Have a great night, man. Dr. Andrew Rader. He's ready to go watch that show. Karen, thank you. Patty, thank you. Julie, thank you. Other Julie, thank you. Mama Grace, Paula, William, thank you, William. William posts every one of these shows, even though they don't look like tonight, looks kind of blurry. I'm thinking that maybe I should do a little cleaning right there on the screen, on the, let's try it. In my other camera, not happening anymore, kids. I don't know what happened, but hold on. Well, that's not any better, is it? That's not good. Nope, that's my little cloth. Well, I'll work on getting a new light. Does that help? I'll work on getting a new camera. And that was fun. Thanks for being there, Mama Grace. Hugs to Mama Grace and hugs to you. Tomorrow morning, Patty, are you making and baking? I don't think I can make and bake because I don't really know what I have in my house to make or bake. I need to get some food. Thanks, Karen. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. I'm so happy that you received the package and that stuff all worked out so cool. Makes me really happy. And I appreciate you guys so very much. So tomorrow morning, Patty, are you coming on tomorrow morning? Are you making and baking something? I might be like, Patty. But I might find something. Maybe I'll make some pancakes or something. I don't know. Good night. Cool. I'm waiting. Patty! What are you making tomorrow morning? Can I call you real quick? I'll call you. Just call you. And call Patty Loman. I know it's late. Calling Patty Loman. We're getting a little teaser. I get to see my friends.
Hello, Miss Mammina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Can't you tell? I'm fabulous.
I can tell.
What are you making?
I think I'm going to make a chorizo stuffing, and I'm going to stuff a mixture, a chorizo mixture, and I'm going to stuff problemo peppers.
Wow.
I can't even talk.
Wow. That sounds really good.
Well, it's better than dessert.
All right. Well, I won't keep you. I just wanted to make sure. I don't have any food to make a smoothie either. I kind of cleared everything out. We have some stuff.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
But I can go look and see what's in the COVID closet. Maybe you make something in the COVID closet.
Whatever. Or you can sit and talk and visit.
We can sit and watch you cook. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow at 11:11.
Okie dokie.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Night, Patty.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, you guys. All right, I need to go talk to Rolf now. I'm going to go downstairs, get Lillian, call Rolf. We're going to work on the grant until I go to sleep. So, which will happen soon, but because we got to get ready for Patty tomorrow. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, be nice. Don't carry any salt on the plane. I'm going to go back and look at that link that David DiNucci of the 10 things that they'll. No, we didn't stop at the store. We just wanted to get home. Get on home. Yeah, just home. But Grace had Sbarro pizza. So she was happy. I will say hi to Rolf for sure. Thank you, Julie. I will. All right, kids. I know I missed some things. I'm sorry. Healthy thoughts, happy words, and a harmonious heart. Have a beautiful night. Mwah. Mom, I'll see you in about 2 minutes. Love heart. As Grace would say, real hard. Thanks, Andy.